Welcome to BaseballGuys.com. I'm your host on Around the Horn. As always, Ray Flowers. John Buck has had a tremendous season. He's been one of the best bats of the catcher's position all year long, at the top in the home run and RBI categories. Well, unfortunately, he's injured, and he's now already been placed on the disabled list with that injury, leaving a big hole in the lineup for the Blue Jays. What are the Blue Jays going to do? Well, they called up their man. They called up potentially their biggest offensive threat in the minor leagues. It's Arencibia. Now, who is Arencibia? Well, you may not have heard of him before, but he's a 24-year-old, again, a huge prospect with the bat. And his numbers at AAA this year are absolutely phenomenal. He's got an OPS of 998. He's hitting over 300. He's got 31 home runs in less than 380 at-bats. An immediate add in AL-only leagues if he's available. In two catcher leagues, he's someone you probably want to get on your roster as well. Buck may only be out for a couple weeks. We'll have to wait to see there. But right now, Arencibia is a guy to keep an eye on and a guy definitely to add if you're in a deep league or in an AL-only setup. Another catcher who's on fire, this one at the major league level, is Geovany Soto. Now, Geovany Soto wasn't really seen much in the first half of the season. He did a great job in the batting average category. His on-base percentage has always been around 400, doing a good job there. But he just wasn't able to drive in any runs. He only had 19 RBIs in the first 62 games of the season. Well, the RBI bat has finally woken up. He's now got 16 RBIs in his last 14 games played, starting to look much like the hitter we saw a couple of years ago, not the guy who struggled last season. Geovany Soto, if he's out there on waivers, pick him up. He's doing very, very well right now for the Cubs. Alex Rodriguez, well, he had a 600th home run. Whatever you think of A-Rod, whether you like the shenanigans, whether you like the fact that he's been tied to performance-enhancing drugs, the huge dollar figures, whatever it might be, 600 runs is a big-time accomplishment. A-Rod keeps doing what he's doing for another couple of seasons. There'll be a valid argument that he's one of the 5 greatest right-handed hitters in the history of baseball. He continues to march toward the Hall of Fame. Well, maybe he does, maybe he doesn't, based upon those steroid accusations and admission on his part. But I will tell you this. He had the 3rd longest drought of any player going for their 500, 600, or 700th home run. Only 2 other guys, Jimmy Fox and Harmon Killebrew, had longer droughts. I don't know if it was the pressure or what, but that run from 599 to 600 took an awful lot of time for Alex Rodriguez. Mike Sweeney. Why do we care about Mike Sweeney? Well, we don't really care about Mike Sweeney in the fantasy game, but maybe we do now. He's obviously someone to target in NL-only leagues after he was moved from the Mariners to the Phillies. Why does that make any difference? Well, Ryan Howard's been placed on the disabled list with that ankle issue. He should be back in a couple of weeks, but for now the Phillies really didn't have a first baseman, so they made the move to pick up Sweeney. Can Sweeney be effective? He can be in short periods of time. Still got the ability to produce a batting average. He could probably hit 280, get an OPS of over 800. Short-term fix in NL-only leagues, not someone to look at in mixed leagues, and with the return of Howard expected to be less than 2 weeks away, not someone you really want to pay attention to unless you need a short-term fix. Now, if you're a Kevin Youkilis owner, the news is a lot worse, and it's potentially devastating for the 2010 season. Now, he's got the issue with his thumb. He's seen a couple of doctors. He may go visit another specialist. There's a muscle pull there. Their doctors are very worried that if he aggravates that issue again, the muscle, I guess, might come away from the bone, in which case surgery will be necessitated and the season will be over. In fact, he hasn't completely gone away from the idea of having surgery at this point. I guess he's getting different opinions from doctors. He's going to continue to look into the matter. He's going to wait a couple days, sift through the information, and make a decision. But he honestly might be out for the rest of the 2010 season. And even if not, this injury seems like it's one that will very severely dampen his outlook if he does return. Red Sox will turn to Mike Lowell at first base. Hope that hip of his is healthy enough to have him contribute. He showed a good bat when he was down in the minor leagues. He's always been a productive guy. He had 17 homers last season, drove in 75 runs, hit 290 in less than 120 games played. Hopefully Mike Lowell can do something like that, or there's going to be a big hole in that Red Sox lineup. Chris Coghlan, another injured player. Now he's got a bad knee. Their team is going to put him at third base. They're going to make a move there because of the youngster Morrison in the outfield and Stanton. They're going to convert the former second baseman who moved to the outfield to third base. We'll have to wait and see how his knee responds, though, because at this point it's not at all clear if Coghlan will be able to be physically capable of playing any position the rest of the season. Again, the team is hopeful he'll get a chance to go down to the minors, work on some things at third, and be a valuable addition to the club down the stretch. But as of right now, we're not sure if Chris Coghlan will play again for the Marlins in 2010. Carlos Pena, he's another player playing through injury. He's got an issue with his foot. Now, he actually has been playing through the injury. He's been out of the lineup for about a week now, but he's still hopeful that he'll be able to avoid the disabled list. Now, he's got an issue with the plantar fascia tendon in his foot. That issue is a scary issue because we've heard players in all the sports, you tear that, you're out long term. Pena hopes that he can tape the foot up and play through the pain. I guess the doctors are telling him at this point it's a pain management issue. It's not a situation, barring something catastrophic, where it's going to be an issue that requires surgery or long term on the sideline. He may take a couple of weeks off. Again, he's fighting that hard. The Rays have got to hope that his power bat is in that lineup because they desperately need him in 2010. And then finally, Carlos Zambrano. He started out as a starter, didn't have much luck. Went to the bullpen, didn't have much luck. Tried to get in a fight with everyone on his team, including the water cooler. Had all the issues off the field, went through the anger management. Now he's back as a bullpen mate. Well, now he's going to be back in the starting rotation. It looks like he's going to start on Monday for the Cubs. They have been getting some, somewhat average performances out of Tom Gorzelani of late, even though his record's been nice. Ted Lilly is now with the Dodgers. Cubs need an extra arm in that starting rotation, so it'll be Zambrano again starting next week. Now you can go to the link that accompanies this video and go to my mailbag piece today where I break down Zambrano. Bottom lining what I wrote there, he's someone you've got to add instantly if you're in an NL league, and if you're in a deep mixed league, pay attention. His strikeout rate is way up, his batting average on balls in play rate and his line drive rates are way above where they've ever been before. If those two numbers recede and he continues to strike batters out, he could be an effective option and someone to look at if you're in the deep league, something like a 15-team mixed league scenario. I'm Ray Flowers, BaseballGuys.com. Thanks for joining me. Talk to y'all again soon.